Almost messed that up immediately. Let's start with recording. All right, everybody. So, welcome. We are so excited that you guys are here. And we are going to jump into the presentation today. I was just asking where everybody is from. If you're just now joining, you haven't missed a thing, just getting to know everybody and saying, hey. So, I'm going to share my screen. You'll be able to see my screen in just 1 second here. And I am gonna hit this and we're gonna present. And let me go back one. Okay, cool. So I hope everybody can see my screen. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen. I just wanna make sure you can see my screen and you can also hear me clearly. Okay, cool. Getting some ones in the chat. Okay, cool. So today's presentation is about the top 5 mistakes that virtual doulas make and how to avoid them. So if you are interested in virtual doula work, if you are interested in taking your business online, serving people all over the globe, not just in your backyard, then you are in the right place. So we're going to support you with how to attract clients virtually, right? And we want you to do that without wasting a lot of time spinning your wheels in the online marketing vortex. Okay. So a lot of people are like, I don't know how to attract clients. I don't know what to post online. I don't even know where to get started. Don't worry. If you have any of those questions, you are in the right place. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that we see people making who want to become virtual doulas and how to avoid them. Okay. So, we're going to support you guys in tapping into the secrets to help you go from overwhelmed and unclear to confidently and consistently attracting clients on demand virtually. Okay. So I want you guys to create a distraction-free environment. Okay. So if I know we are doulas, but if you can sit your phone to the side, give the babies a snack and a coloring book, let them know you need a couple of minutes, okay, just to focus. So if you do have a pen, a paper, something electronic to take notes, we drop a lot of gems. You're definitely going to want to take notes. Okay. So, we want to talk about like why client attraction strategy is important, first of all, right? We know a lot of you guys want to escape your 9 to 5, right? Drop a 1 in the chat if you are working a job that you would absolutely love to quit so you can work in your purpose and passion as a doula, right? We know that unless we're serving people, we're not living out our purpose, which is to make impact on other people, right? So we can't make an impact if we can't attract the people who we desire to serve, right? So let me know too if you want to provide a better life for yourself and for your family. We know a lot of people that want to make doula work and want to make it their full-time thing because they desire to provide a better life for themselves and for their children. They also want to leave a legacy, right? So raise your hand in the chat if you're like, I would love to leave behind a legacy of love and of support and of changing this industry from the ground up. Because we all know this industry that we're working in needs a lot of work. And so we are the change makers that are facilitating the change that we want to see within the industry, right? So if that resonated with anybody, tell me which one resonated with you. All right. So the first step to client attraction that a lot of people don't realize is you. So we start with what is the story that you have, right? So we want you to discover and define your secret sauce, which is your story, and put those pieces together. And don't worry if you don't know how, we are going to help you do that. So, doula work builds on everything that has gotten you to this point, right? To this very point. We see so many people who take a doula training and all of a sudden, all of the things that they did and that they were before doula work, they don't even want to talk about it. They forgot about it. They don't know nothing about it. They're just doulas. And it's like, okay, like that's dope and that's cool. But you becoming a doula also is everything that you were before you were a doula in combination with the new skills and training that you have at this point, right? So for me, a lot of the things that ended up making up who I was before I became a doula, being a first time mom, having a positive birthing experience, right? Failing at breastfeeding is a part of my story. And that's what also makes me a great doula, right? I also did not have a great 4th trimester, right? So I was one of those first time moms that prepared for birth like it was the finish line, not knowing that there was so much on the other side of that, right? I was a nursing assistant before I became a doula, right? So I worked hand in hand with nurses and doctors in a very busy hospital here in Cleveland, the Cleveland Clinic. Maybe you've heard of it, right? So those are some of the skills that I pull from now, even as a doula, right? I also found myself laid off and pregnant and job seeking, right? So that's a part of my story and something that has actually happened to quite a few of my clients, especially now in the pandemic, that I'm able to talk about and relate to them on is being laid off, being pregnant, and trying to find a job, right? And I also am an avid Netflix watcher, right? I was just watching the Aftershock documentary on Hulu and then some other things on Netflix, right? So being somebody who avidly watches a lot of like streaming services is something that I also bring to the table along with everything that I am as a doula and something that I talk about online and relate to potential clients and clients with, right? So thinking through some of those things, who are you? How many children do you have? What are some of the things that happened that went well or that didn't go well? All of that is a part of your story and what you bring to the table along with your skills and expertise as a doula. So something that Dasia always says is that you don't need to divorce yourself from your past experiences. She said this in one of our coaching like sessions last week or the week before. And I thought that it was so powerful because so many of us are like, we have all of these things and we want to put them in a box and put them on the shelf. And now we want to figure out how to become a doula instead of taking all of those things, unpacking those things and bringing them with us. So this is the time where I was telling you guys about the pencil and paper. So we want you guys to take a few moments to write out some things, right? What are your passions, right? Maybe write 3 to 5 different things that you're really, really passionate about. What are your interests, right? So I was telling you guys about how I'm interested in watching Netflix, watching documentaries. What are some of the things that you're interested in? We see a lot of people who are interested in art, interested in herbs, interested in so many dope things that they are not talking about. So what are some of the interests that you have? What are some of your hobbies, right? So I don't know if I talked about this a lot online or not, but since I was 9, I've been crocheting, right? And that's one of my hobbies. I absolutely love it, right? So it doesn't have to have anything to do with birth work, no matter how quirky it is. We want you guys to list out a few of the different hobbies that you have. And careers. Okay. We know doulas, y'all have had some very interesting lives and careers before you became doulas. Some of you guys were in the military, some of you guys were nurses, some of you guys are teachers, like pelvic floor therapists, all types of dope things that you have done in your career life before you became a doula. So don't give us all of the resume, but just list out maybe just a few of the most recent positions and titles that you held before you became a doula, or even now while you are a doula. Right? So what are some of the victories? What are some of the things in your life that have gone well? And what are some of the lessons that you've learned from things that maybe didn't go as planned, right? And last but not least, we want you to list out your circle of support. So who are the people who are avidly cheering for you, who you tell, who you call when things are going well, who you call when things are not going well, right? So that's also critically important to your journey and who you are right now and as you move forward in your birth work life. So we want you guys to list out that and just take a few minutes.
And y'all, do not breeze past this point. So this is not the, oh, let's get to the juice, let's get to the tea, because we're going to get there. We're going to get to the factual stuff you can take with you once you leave that helps you take your next steps with virtual doula work, whether you haven't started yet or whether you are, you have services you want to offer, but you haven't made that connection yet with, like, again, how do I connect with the families who are looking for this? Don't skip this part. Really write something down right here. Because the analogy I want to give, what happens a lot of times with us, with doulas who come into birth work, is that it's like what can be a beautiful thing. If you think of a butterfly analogy, the butterfly that was once a caterpillar, right? It had a life before it went into its cocoon. It was doing whatever its caterpillar thing was doing before it went into this cocoon. It got quiet and it came out as a butterfly. And so a lot of times as doulas, we think we're in the butterfly stage as a doula, and we have to forget everything that we learned as that caterpillar, right? And so take this part seriously, write some stuff down. It's gonna help you. I promise it's gonna help you. You wonder, like, what does binge watching Netflix have anything to do with me attracting another client? It has a lot to do with when you bring the fullness of you to this. So I just want to tell y'all, do not skip this step. Do not skimp on it. Fill this part out. This is probably one of the most important pieces before we can build on anything else.
Okay, y'all. So we are going to go to the next thing, but keep writing. If you still have more to write, keep writing, okay? Okay, so next thing, next. Okay, so does this sound like you? So you dream of becoming a virtual doula, right? But you're struggling with where to start, right? So if you have no idea where to start, put a number 1 in the chat. Okay. And then 2, do you want to serve families that you love working with, but you're tired of spinning your wheels trying to figure out like how to attract families, right? If you're having trouble with marketing and attracting families, put a number 2 in the chat, right? And then if you are tired of feeling like you don't really know enough compared to other doulas, right? If you feel like other doulas know more than me, they have more experience than me, like I don't know why necessarily families would pick me opposed to a more experienced doula. And a lot of the doulas in my area, it's so much competition, right? If you're feeling the pressure and overwhelm of comparing yourself to other doulas, drop a 3 in the chat, right? So drop a 1 in the chat if you're unsure of where to start. Drop a 2 in the chat if you're not sure exactly how to market and attract families. And then drop a 3 if you're feeling like you don't know enough and just constantly comparing yourself to other doulas, right? We all are somewhere on that list, and I just want to see where everyone is. All right. And if you dropped a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, then I want you to know that you are in the right place, right? Before we get too far into that though, you probably want to know who you're listening to and like what qualifies us to talk about this. So let's get into that. So I'm Jariel. I'm a birth and a postpartum doula. I'm also the host of the Doula Road Trip podcast. I'm a community builder. So I started the Cleveland BIPOC Doula Meetup about a year ago here locally. And I'm also a doula business coach. What's most relevant to you guys, though, is that last year I had a client who absolutely kicked me out of the birth room. And so I had to quickly learn how to be able to support and give people everything they needed virtually if I was not allowed in the room. Okay. So now I do run a practice that is hybrid where I prepare clients virtually. That way they're prepared whether or not they want me in the room. And if they do want me in the room, then I'm there to support them. I also follow up with them virtually in the postpartum period. So I do a little bit of traditional and a little bit of virtual support together in my practice at this time. And then Dasia, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. By the way, Nancy, I saw what you dropped in the chat and I made a note because we'll circle back to that once we hit the Q&A portion, because we can definitely dig into that more, your question. So, hey y'all, my name is Dasia. I am what I would call a childbirth preparation coach. So doula is the familiar term, but I think I've really developed a whole new style of supporting families my own type of way and doing it completely virtual. So I know the pandemic threw us all for a loop trying to figure out hospital policy and what we were going to do from that point. But pretty much since the end of 2020, around November, I never looked back to in-person traditional work. All the families I've supported from that point forward up until now have been online. I've taken one in-person client this year, and that was just because she was a high school friend. And it reminded me why I love virtual doula work so much. I am also a co-host on the Doula Road Trip podcast. So make sure y'all write that down, because just go binge. If you're going to binge anything while you multitasking and doing whatever your day-to-day, go listen to that podcast, y'all. Also a community builder. A little bit about me that's unrelated to birth specifically. Thank you, Nancy, saying she loves the podcast. My background before this, where I was at my caterpillar stage before I hit butterfly, I was in the military. So I'm an Air Force vet. my real job that I was doing there, y'all, I was working with missiles. So I don't really be saying that part because it's a whole story within itself. But present day, I am a doula business coach, and I'm finally at the point, y'all. Everybody been asking me, and probably some people in this room, like, so at what point are we putting out this virtual doula stuff? Can you talk more about it? And so now we're finally at the place where we are giving the people what they've been asking for. So y'all, we have so much that we want to share with you about the actual pieces of like, how do you make this work? Because we're seeing a lot of people who haven't taken that step into virtual doula work, or maybe you have taken the step and you have offers, but nobody's really taking the next step with you or signing up, or you're trying to figure out, does this even work or make sense? But we know y'all want to do it. So that's why we're here talking to you, because we've been doing the things in quiet and we're ready to share with you.
All right. So we both serve families confidently virtually, and the secret to our success has been our client attraction process, right? Where we are able to attract clients without burning out, without spinning our wheels, without posting for hours on social media. So let's get into that. So can you imagine knowing how to show up online and meet families who are looking for your services, right? Spending less time on your Facebook and Instagram business accounts with little to no engagement, right? I can't tell you how many times we've heard people say, I'm posting on my business Facebook page, I'm posting on my business Instagram page. Nobody's engaging, nobody's commenting except for my family and other doulas, right? And then can you imagine also confidently sharing the price of your virtual services and getting booked consistently, right? How many people would love, love, love to make that dream a reality? So for everybody who's like, okay, sis, like, where is this going? Where are we going? Like, how is all of this unfolding? Right? We got you. So today we're talking about the energy of attracting versus getting, right? We're going to talk about can you doula, right? We're going to talk about honoring your capacity and making sure that the doula support you're offering is in alignment with who you are at your essence. Okay. We're going to talk about why other doulas really don't matter, right? So if you're like, other doulas know more than me, there's so many people in my area, it's saturated, don't worry, we got something for you for that. We're going to talk about how to show up online better. We're going to talk about the naked truth about collaboration, right? We're also going to share with you how you can work with us. And if you have questions, don't worry, we got answers. We have a whole Q&A section. So write down your questions. We promise we will get to them at the end of this presentation and we will answer your questions. No worry, we got you. Okay, so this presentation is for you if you are a newly trained birth worker, right? It doesn't matter if you just left training 5 minutes ago, we got you, you're in the right place. If you desire to support families online, you are in the right place and we got you. And if you are an action taker who is ready to move forward with your calling to support families, then you are in the right place, right? This is not for you if you don't have any knowledge or any expertise in birth work at all, right? This is not a training. This is not where you want to be, right? You want to start with doula training if that's where you are right now, right? If you don't desire to support families online, we get it. A lot of people don't desire to do virtual doula work. They want to continue with traditional work. There is a place for both, and we honor that, but we are speaking about virtual doula work today. So if that's not what you want to do, we completely understand. And also, too, if you're not an action taker, you just don't have the capacity right now to take a whole lot of action. It's a lot of stuff on your plate. No worries. We completely get that too. There are some seasons that are way, way busier than others. And so if you don't have the capacity to take action, then this won't be helpful for you because it is very action oriented. Okay, so we're getting right into it, y'all. So, mistake number one that people make when it comes to attracting their first virtual client and supporting clients online is that everyone's trying to get a client versus attracting a client, right? The energy is very different, and the process for which to do it is very, very different. And Deja, I'll let you jump in because I know that you love talking about the energy of getting versus attracting.
I love talking about words and the weight that they carry and the way that we move, like the type of action that we take when it's associated with different words. So a lot of times I'll see in doula groups or in our coaching sessions that we have with people one-on-one, and people will use the word specifically of, I'm just trying to get my first client, or I'm trying to get my first virtual client, or I'm trying to get more clients. And so I just want us to like peel back and unlayer like what get means. Get a lot of times is associated with like taking or grabbing or chasing something that we were actively out here looking for. And so I know some people in the birth community don't agree with me when I say this, but I say it all the time. I'm not the doula that's going to see somebody pregnant and then go out my way to say, I'm a doula, here's my services, but I'm not going to do that, not for the sake of not helping people and not wanting to raise that awareness. But I don't even know where this person's at on their journey. I don't know what type of day they're having. They don't know me at all, right? And so the difference between getting and being in this active chase mode versus the attraction standpoint, let me tell you what attraction looks like. Y'all see this shirt that I have on right now that everybody keeps telling me, like, where can I get this? It says your body, your baby, your birth. And why would this be different? So I'm not out telling somebody I'm a doula, you can work with me, here's my website. I am being a walking example of what I live by, right? Just by what I'm wearing. When we went back to the first exercise, which I hope y'all didn't. Okay, thank you, love. Which I hope y'all didn't skip over. Yes, love. This is my my sidekick, y'all. This is Kaya. If you want to say hi, hello. Okay, mommy can help you in just a moment. Would you like to sit with me? You can either sit right here with me or I can help you in just a minute. Which one would you like? Okay. The difference between getting and going after and chasing versus sitting with the exercise that we first talked about with what are your hobbies and what are your interests and what is the background that you're coming from, people start to get naturally attracted to the different qualities that you bring, aside from just being a doula and knowing this knowledge about birth work, especially when a lot of people don't know what a doula is or how a doula can help them. They get attracted to just again, you like watching this show on Netflix, you like watching Love is Blind. I like watching Love is Blind and making these correlations to this thing. Or for the people who are coming in with things that are related to birth work in a way, like yoga, prenatal yoga, or who do like to do Reiki, or who are into herbs, when you start to infuse some of the things that you just naturally are passionate about, that you can talk about for hours, that other people enjoy as well, you start to make a connection with them on those things. It opens them up to wanting to even learn more about, okay, well, tell me more about what you do here with this doula stuff, or what does that look like? And so I'm just offering a reframe and a perspective shift when we talk about the way in which we are trying to connect with. I want us to attempt to connect with families versus getting. How can I get virtual clients? Is a whole different energy than how can I attract these people to me? In which way can I position myself where people who are already looking for this type of service, they know that I'm here and they're coming to me, versus I'm going out trying to find people.
I just wanted to add that a very real example of that is all of you guys being here right now, right? You saw a post on Facebook that said, hey, are you interested in virtual doula work, making an impact on a global level, taking your services outside of your backyard? And everybody was like, interested, right? And so you guys are all here because we attracted you, right, to this space, to this time, in order to share this information today. So I wanted to know from all of you guys, what is one thing that you're taking away from what we're saying right now about attracting versus getting, right? Have you been in the energy of getting? Like, how has that been supporting you and serving you at this moment? what do you think about shifting into the energy of attraction and how that may impact what you're trying to do differently, right? So let us know in the comments what lessons you're taking away from mistake number one and how you are shifting if that is something that you have noticed, the getting versus attracting energy. Okay. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and go to mistake number two. Mistake number two is providing doula support that you don't have time or space in your life to give freely. Ooh, y'all. So this one is a very, very big one. I know that with birth doula work, everybody wants to be a birth doula, right? Birth doula work is sexy. We're sneaking out into the middle of the night. We're supporting clients. We're going here. We're going there, right? And so many people want to do birth doula work. And it's interesting that even people who are like, I feel called to be a death doula or a bereavement doula or a postpartum doula, everybody feels like, oh, but I have to start with birth doula work, right? But how many of us have noticed that we're in birth doula work, but we have small children, or maybe we have insecure childcare, or maybe we have a very rigid 9 to 5, right? And all of these other elements in our life that really aren't conducive to doing birth doula work and being on call and showing up at the drop of a hat, right? So I know for me, this definitely happened, right? So I was like, oh, I want to be a birth doula. And then all of a sudden, I'm realizing that I also have a three-nager who's now 4, who I don't really have secure childcare for. And so that is causing me stress and actually like clogging my energy, right, for the amount of people that I can attract. So I'm saying I want to attract clients, but I haven't really made the space to freely and openly support clients because I don't have the space in my life because I'm so nervous about what'll happen if I get booked and like I don't have childcare, right? So I want everybody to think about like what's your capacity right now? So what's your family obligations? Do you have small children? What's your career obligations? What are your obligations in any relationship you're in? Partners, whatever that looks like, right? What are your strengths, right? So what are the things that you do well, that you enjoy doing, and what are your passions? And are all of those things in alignment with the type of support that you want to provide? I know too, the movie Aftershock is out right now, right? And Aftershock is a very popular movie that so many people are talking about, and it's reigniting people's passion and desire to do something to change the industry. And so maybe you'll watch the movie and you'll say, oh, I want to become a birth doula. But there's so many different roles that we can play in order to support like the greater good of the impact that we want to make. And all of those roles are very, very important. So I just want everybody to evaluate like, is birth work for me in this season? Do I have the capacity in my life? What may I need to shift or move in order to fully show up as a birth doula? So I did want to mention that to everybody because I know capacity is something that many people don't talk about at birth doula training, but becomes very, very real once you leave. So Dasia, did you want to add anything to capacity?
Mm, I feel like this could be a whole other tangent. The only thing I'll add to that, y'all, is that you get to choose how you define birth work for yourself. And so I think often there's like a badge of honor associated with giving of yourself so much. Uh-oh. Thank you. There's something associated with giving of yourself so much in this almost badge of honor that doulas get for self-sacrificing and not being there for your own personal needs and your family needs. And so being honest with yourself about what is your capacity, what do you have space for, and knowing that you're not any less of a doula because you choose to show up in a different way is a big step in going virtual. And back to that attracting piece, attracting people to you. Because if you have any type of hesitancy inside of yourself about wondering, is this real support, or am I really, can it be this easy, or can it be this fun, or can I connect with somebody while I'm in Georgia who lives in California? If there's any pieces of that where you're not honest with your own capacity, you actually start to repel people. But that's a whole conversation in and of itself. So yes, that's all I got to share.
Okay, y'all. So let us know what resonated with you. Like if you really feel stressed out by trying to balance everything that you've committed to in your personal life and then also trying to balance this calling of being a doula? What are some of the things that you're going to evaluate, and how can you show up differently in order to make that less stressful and make that a smooth transition and open yourself up to attract the families that you desire to serve? All right. Let us know in the comments. All right, so we're getting on to mistake number 3. So mistake number 3 is huge, which is thinking about and comparing yourself to other doulas. Who child? Okay, so let's get into this one. So many people have said to us, oh, I'm looking out online at other doulas. I'm looking in my community at other doulas. It's so many other doulas. My area is saturated. So many doulas have been in this game for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They know so much more than me. And so there's so many people who we know who are adequately like prepared to serve and have so much to give, but are feeling inadequate because they are comparing themselves to other doulas, right? So here's a secret that I want to let y'all know. It really does not matter if there were one other doula in your community or 800,000 doulas in your community, because the secret sauce that you are bringing is your story, right? So nobody else has your lived experiences. Nobody else has worked all the jobs that you have worked, has the family that you have created and that you are a part of, has your perspective, has your experiences, has your gifts, has your passion, has your knowledge and expertise, right? So you are in a category of one, right? And the families who are looking for you are looking for you because of all of the things that you are, because you are a doula, and all of the things that you were before you became a doula, right? And so, so many of us are so worried about other doulas that we're not showing up fully with our gifts, with our passion, with the knowledge and expertise that we do have while we're growing our knowledge and expertise as a doula. And it's greatly impacting the fact that families don't see you, right? And that's really the only reason why they can't hire you, is because they don't know you, they don't know your story, they don't know what makes you different, they don't know why you care. And so that's really why they're booking other doulas. It has nothing to do with knowledge and expertise, because as we all know, we can get knowledge and expertise. We have a big network and a big community of people who know everything. If you don't know something, it's very easy, especially for doulas, because all we do is go down research rabbit holes to find answers, to find people, to find information in order to show up for our clients if they ask us something that we don't know, right? So it's really a matter of how are we showing up, having everything that we have, and displaying what we do have to offer to potential clients, right? So I want to let you guys know that the more we share our story, right, especially our doula journey, right? We've been doulas for the past 3 years. In case you don't know, I'm from listening to the podcast, and still people book us all of the time as coaches, right? Are there doula business coaches who have more experience than us, who have been in the game longer than us? They absolutely have. But people resonate with us being first time moms, coming into doula work with insecure childcare, right? Figuring out this business thing out loud in the open and transparently, right? People resonate with us, people connect with us, and people want to work with us, and they have a lot of other options. And the same will be true for the families that want to work with you. Deja, did you want to add anything on this one?
Absolutely.
Mm.
That's the thing that I hear so much, the comparison about why would somebody, go with me, or the thoughts that might play in your head that you might not say out loud. So for those of y'all earlier who dropped the 3 and were really transparent and honest, like, thank you for that honesty of saying, yeah, I felt that way, or do feel that way, that sometimes I wonder, am I doing enough as so and so, or is this as valuable, or does it make sense to put it out? So y'all, before I committed to fully going virtual, I was with no support. I had a 1-year-old at the time. I preferred it. I really preferred it anyway, but I was surrounded by people who I started on my journey with, who were telling me, like, that's not how you really do it. That's not how you show up. People don't really want that. How do you connect with somebody, in this type of way, in this capacity? And so y'all are not alone. For the people who feel that way currently, I've been there where I didn't take steps forward I had the tools, right? So it wasn't a lack of knowledge. It wasn't a lack of skill set. I literally wasn't taking steps forward because I was concerned about what so-and-so other birth worker was going to say. It had nothing to do with the families that needed the support, right? This had to do with what other people were going to think about. And you know, the funny thing too, you want to know who my very first virtual client was somebody who lived in my community, somebody who could have paid for in-person support or who could have had that option. But I said, no, I'm actually not doing in-person support anymore. Once I got firm in what I was going to do and I cleared some of that stuff out, and again, got into the right energy where I wasn't trying to get nobody, my very first virtual client was in the same city as me, who lived like 5 minutes down the road. And so I want y'all to know we have a lot to unpack there in the birth community when it comes to the comparisons and the stories that we tell ourselves about our own value in comparison to someone else.
All right, y'all. So again, if this resonated with you, if you have anything that you've taken away from this part, if this is something you really needed to hear, drop it in the chat. We would love, love, love to hear from you guys. All right, y'all. So mistake number 4 is creating and posting on a business social media accounts without first planning. Ooh, child. Okay, so everybody is creating social media accounts for business, right? Because it's on the checklist of things we have to do if we're going to start a business. We got to create the business account for Instagram and for Facebook, and we just start posting, right? I see so many people reposting other people's pregnancy photos, gender reveals, maternity shoots, and it's just a whole lot of reposting. Or we're posting content, but it's kind of sporadic, it's kind of all over the place, and we haven't really sat down to say to ourselves, like, what is it that we want to communicate? What is it that we want to share? What information do we want people to take away? And how do we want people to feel after interacting with our accounts online, right? So, this is what I want you guys to know. We need to first, before we want to provide the services to the families in the community, right? We leave doula training and it's like, okay, let's serve, let's serve, let's serve, let's offer these services. But actually, the first step is to take a step back and to get an understanding, right? So we want to connect with the people who we want to support, not to offer them our doula services, but to have deep conversations about what are their fears, what are their challenges, what do they desire most, right? So we want to do whatever we need to do to meet these people and to have conversations with them, and then to figure out, okay, how can we relate, right? What commonalities do we have? What connection points do we have? And then how can we then plan our content around the new information that we have? I can't tell you like how much information I've gathered just from doing consultations, right? Consultations with potential clients, because I'm asking, what fears do you have around having your first baby or around childbirth? What are some of the challenges that you're experiencing? Why do you desire to hire a doula? What do you want us to do as we show up for you as doulas, right? What is your partner nervous about? And I'm able to use all of that information and infuse that into the way that I show up as a doula, and also the content that I create to attract potential clients, right? So first we need to get an understanding. So many of us are hopping out, ready to serve and ready to support, and that's absolutely fantastic, but we have no clue who we're serving, what they really desire for us, and what we can do in order to support them in getting what they desire, right? So stepping back and asking those questions will make a world of difference in what you're posting. And guess what? That question of what do I post online or what do I post on this page no longer becomes a question, because we have that connection and we already have that information.
So this also kind of ties back to the third mistake, which is a lot of times with the social media piece and showing up online, this comparison game starts to happen with, well, so and so is posting reels, or so and so is on TikTok, so and so is given this type of information, that you completely lose track again of who are the people that you're actually trying to support, who would be looking for virtual services and who would be a good fit for it. We get lost in like what everybody else is doing and how that's working for them and how many likes and followers that they got, that you don't make space and room for what's the way in which you want to show up, right? Because sometimes if we even take a step back from that, some people, you don't even need to be using social media in that way of like the constant pumping out content for the sake of pumping it out, especially when it doesn't feel good. Because again, that's back to the energy of you're trying to get something. So I think maybe I can do this and then maybe this will happen. The way that we use social media, y'all, if you looked at my Instagram page, you'll be like, so how are you connecting with people? How are people finding you? It doesn't have to be in a specific way, right? But when you take a step back to first get intentional about the way you want to show up, it's going to look different for you than it looks for Jariel, than it looks for Nancy, than it looks for anybody else on here. I actually at the beginning of this year, let me rewind back to the beginning of my doula journey and then fast forward to what 2022 looks like. Beginning of my doula journey, I was like, here's my checkbox. I need to start this business Instagram account. Didn't know what I'm supposed to be posting on there. Like a lot of doulas, I'm sharing doula information. Doulas can decrease your, time and labor this much, and a doula can do this. That's not really beneficial to many people who want to know, like, do you get me? Do you hear what I have going on right now? That wasn't beneficial. So my content at that time wasn't really talking to the people who I wanted it to talk to. It became an echo chamber of other birth workers, of other people who spoke my language. Fast forward to 2022, getting intentional about the way I wanted to show up, it looks really different. If you see my Instagram right now, stuff I was posting at the beginning of the year, y'all, it was pictures of me and my husband. We took pictures together, some like in the apartment, chill type of vibe, professional pictures. And I had people like, well, why are you sharing that? And why are you posting about that? And what does it have to do with birth? You'll be surprised how many people, again, that I connect with that say, can you be my doula? Can you give me this information? Because the part that resonated for them is, I want my partner support. I want to feel loved on and a bonded experience. I want my partner to know the different techniques and whatnot. So you'll be surprised the things that seem like they're unrelated to client attraction, but it's the very thing that people are attracted to. So the comparison game, y'all, this 3 and 4 mistake kind of tied to each other.
Okay, y'all. So just like on the last 3, I want you guys to drop in the chat what resonated for you and what was your main takeaway from mistake number 4 and how you'll show up differently online now with this information. And then mistake number 5, last but not least, is treating everyone like they are unpaid volunteers in your marketing department, also known as collaborating. Y'all, so many people come to us, especially because we host a podcast and we seemingly have a platform, right, for which people can promote things on and share their offers. So many people come to us and they're like, let's collaborate, let's collaborate, let's collaborate, let's collaborate. I have this class, I have this course that I would like to sell. Let's collaborate, right? And so I want you guys to know that collaboration can be very important, but you do want to collaborate thoughtfully and you want to collaborate correctly, right? What does that mean? So Dasia and I, our whole partnership came about because of like an Instagram DM, right? And we've been collaborating now for like the last 8 or 9 months, right? But I want to let you guys know, we never talked about collaborating at the beginning. What we talked about was, hey sis, I'm rooting for you. I see a lot of commonalities between what we're doing. What do you have going on? What can I support you with? How can I cheer you on, right? So collaboration is a long-term strategy. We were actually online friends for like maybe a year before we actually started working together. And so I want you guys to know that if you want to collaborate, it's nothing wrong with that. One, you do have to have something to bring to the table though, right? So what are you working on? What can you offer somebody in a collaboration partnership or in a collaboration agreement, right? Who do you see around online or in person who you potentially want to collaborate with? And taking a step back, how can you get to know them and build a relationship first to then maybe one day collaborate, or even see if collaboration is something that would be mutually beneficial now that you've gotten to know the person, right? especially when I first became a doula, it was so many local doulas, and I was so sad about being a solo entrepreneur and how lonely it was. I was just like, oh my goodness, collaborate with me. Yes, I want to collaborate with you. Let's go together and meet providers and do all of these things. And then come to find out, the same people who I was dragging along to all these things, thinking that we're building our network, were the same people who behind my back were trying to tell people, oh, I'm the better doula, or oh, I'm the one you should work with, or oh, we're really not collaborating, we're really not together, and tried to make it very clear that we weren't actually in partnership, right? And that's because I was so anxious to collaborate that I didn't take a step back to build relationships and actually prepare myself for collaboration, right? When Dasia and I started collaborating, we actually didn't even really call it a collaboration. I think we were just kind of like, oh, let's do a couple of things together and let's see what happens. And it was so easy and so natural because it wasn't something that was forced, it wasn't premeditated, and I wasn't trying to get, going back to mistake number one, I wasn't trying to get anything out of it, right? So I want you guys to know collaborating can be absolutely beneficial to your business. It can grow your business, but think before you become a part of an agency. Think before you bring on a business partner. Think before you collaborate with someone online who maybe has a bigger following because you're trying to get in front of more expecting families or people to attend your classes and courses or whatever that looks like. I want you to think about it, collaborate thoughtfully, and collaborate correctly.
Y'all, this one, it's gonna shape your journey and your experience. I know that when I first started out, um, I had a community of people. I mentioned I was in North Dakota. So again, a lot of people, a lot of folks who did not look like me. Pretty much I was the only person there in my cohort, the doula training I went through. And a lot of people that I was connected to in the beginning that I felt like I needed to stay connected to. Um, it ended up really impacting me negatively early on in my journey because I was not confident enough again to make those intentional connections. So I was making connections with people for the sake of just staying connected to somebody who I started with. And really the way in which we wanted to show up for people just wasn't in alignment. So I mentioned the virtual piece of it, right? So I already had people flat out telling me that's not real doula work. Nobody really wants that. So that's one thing, like that's impacting me because I'm not taking a step forward. I had people around me who didn't get what the Black community is going through as far as birth is concerned. They had knowledge around birth, but not the extra piece of like, our people are dying exponentially higher rates than, anybody else. And so the way in which I wanted to show up didn't happen until I really like got comfortable with just going on this journey by myself for a little bit until I could get into a space of knowing, what do I want to do? What steps do I want to take forward? And then who else is in alignment? That's my favorite word. If you ever listen to anything, any podcast, any trainings we teach, what's in alignment here? And if it's not in alignment, just because this other person is in birth work doesn't mean that, it makes sense for us to be working together. And so this is a big, big, big one that can really impact your journey. Specifically, if you're saying, I want to take my business virtual, I want to support people online. I'm going to tell y'all again, sometimes it's not a client attraction part. It's not oh, I can't find families to work with. Sometimes we're in our own head telling ourselves, I don't want to put out this offer. That was me. I don't want to put out this offer because somebody's going to see it. Like I have to promote that, right? So back to my doula business Instagram account. In order to connect with people, I'm going to have to put that out there. And I'm worried that this doula that I know in North Dakota is going to see that because she already told me it's not real doula work. And so start to be really thoughtful with the connections you're making, the people you're networking with and collaborating with and partnering with, because they impact your journey for better or for worse. So just want to drop that one.
All right, y'all. So, any lessons that you guys have taken from mistake number 5? We're talking about collaboration. Anything that you guys are thinking when it comes to collaborating thoughtfully and correctly, let us know in the chat. All right, cool. So, quick recap of the 5 mistakes and the secret, right? So, secret number 1 is going to be energy, right? So, we're making sure that we are in attraction energy and not getting energy, right? Secret number 2 is to know and play your part, right? So this goes back to making sure that we're sitting in the right seat, right? When it comes to the support that we're providing. Is birth doula support in this season the thing that I really want to do and that I can commit to, that I have the capacity for, right? So we're checking that. Secret number 3 is to tell your story. So many of us are showing up online and nobody knows what our gifts are, what our talents are, what our expertise is, and why we care. So that way they can connect and care as well, right? So that's secret number 3. Secret number 4 is going to be intimately understand your community, right? So the doors of the training open and we run out and we're ready to sell our birth doula packages, right? Which is so exciting. But we need to take one step back and have a conversation with the people who we desire to support to figure out, what are you struggling with? What are your desires? What's your vision? And figuring out how we can really support them with the things that we're offering. And then secret number 5 is true collaboration requires preparation. Okay. So we want you to collaborate thoughtfully and correctly. Think about, what am I bringing to the table? What do I deserve in a partner collaboration, right? And how can they show up for me? Build those relationships. And then in a long-term way, once we got some time and once we're clear on what we deserve and what we can give, then we want to collaborate in order to grow our business and in order to grow the impact, because collaboration can be very powerful. It's an amazing thing, but we just want to make sure that we're collaborating thoughtfully and correctly. All right. So those are the 5 secrets. All right, y'all. So we have a question for you guys. And the question is, are you ready for the next chapter? So the things that we shared with you guys today, as far as client attraction and showing up online, is just really the tip of the iceberg for all of the things that we have to share, and really the tip of the iceberg for client attraction, because we've been going like an hour, but it's so many more things that we want to say on this topic alone, right? So we do have a course, and it is how to become a virtual doula. And so I'll let Dasia take this over, because I know you guys have been stalking her online, in her DMs, in her inbox, asking her, sis, when is the course dropping that's teaching us how to become a virtual doula? If that's you, this is your time in the presentation, okay? We're answering that question right now.
No, it's a good stock, y'all. The folks who've been in my DMs and nudging me literally since like December of last year, I appreciate it. And I finally have, said, Jariel, come on, let's do this. Let's hop on this. And y'all, I'm being prompted as well because I got a little baby on the way. So I get this little belly down here. We trying to get this thing out for y'all. I'm like, we can't push this any further. I'm going to be on maternity leave. So it's here, y'all. If this part is for you, if you feel like I need next steps, I need to know concrete. Okay, cool. I'm feeling all this client attraction stuff, great, but I need concrete steps on what does it look like to show up and support somebody virtually? How are you connecting with those people? If you need support in the mental mindset stuff, some of the stuff we already started to touch on, where you might have been like, okay, getting versus attracting, but tell me more about that. This is like the course that is jam-packed of all the virtual doula stuff, the business skills, and really creating something that's unique to you. So it's not just, here's our framework, here's how you have to do it. It's like, come on in and let's put the pieces together of something that you feel good about. So it's definitely full of frameworks. I'm like the framework person. That's how my mind works, is like, here's A through Z of how we get there, the systems in place, the actions to take, all the things that you'll need to, again, attract virtual clients and to actually show up. And let's say it's a Zoom just like this. It'll be all of, what does this look like? What am I actually talking to people about? And how do I know that they're going to actually experience a good birth from the support that I'm supporting them in, right? And so let's talk about what's going to be in each module. So this will be 6 weeks live, but we're going to be teaching 2 times a week. So 12 modules total, but we'll be together for 6 weeks. The first module is going to be all about you. So we're going to take a deeper dive. We're going to stay in kind of what we were in today with, let's talk about your passions and your hobbies and what you're coming into this with, and how to get clear on a vision and a mission. So I don't know who was in my vision workshop at the beginning of the year. I had so many people sign up, so many people show up. And that seemed to be something that needs to happen annually because y'all really were excited about kind of the manifestation part of things, which we like to tie in with the strategy and all the practical pieces. But module 1 is just, let's just get clear on what this looks like for you. Let's cut out the noise of what somebody already told you this could or couldn't look like. And let's write down and get clear on your plan. And we have a way to walk you through getting clear on your plan. Module 2 is going to be starting getting into the client part. So showing up online with a client, what does it look like to walk them through getting them clear on what their vision is for birth? So before we can even set some groundwork, start to talk about options and positions for labor, we need to help our clients start to reframe the beliefs that they might have about birth. A lot of the people that I come into supporting virtually, or, people in person as well, I start here with just tell me what the first, 3 words that come up for you about birth. And so that's module 2, is all about setting the stage with the client. Module 3 is going to be about centering the client's needs, dreams, and desires. What this means is that as the doula, you're there for support in what their, dream and desires are. A lot of times we can come into this with, well, I'm going to be honest with, is like this ego and the complex of like, I know best and I'm going to tell you all of these things and really information dump on you. And we don't stop enough to assess and say, what does this person need? What are they asking for? What does their vision look like? Do they have it, right? A lot of times I just ask people, what do you want? And they can't even tell me. And so we start here with helping people to center themselves in their experience so that they don't get in their own way of their birth experience. Yeah. Come on, baby. Module 4 is going to be possibly some things that you learned. Yes, baby. Possibly some things that you already learned in your doula training, or if you've already taken a childbirth education course, but foundational knowledge that we use to build upon, which is just about the physiology of birth and how to walk people through the stages of labor. Module 5 is going to be all about, this is the big piece. So this is going to be a big week, right? You in your doula training probably learn comfort measures and techniques. Awesome. The piece of the puzzle that a lot of doulas will say, I don't know if I can offer this stuff virtually, is like, because I'm not in the room with somebody or I'm not hands-on, how do I know that I'm making an impact or that something's different? If I can't massage, if I can't squeeze hips, if I can't, do these things, how am I an effective doula? This is like foundational piece of the puzzle, y'all, is going to be essentially, how do we give some of the things that we've learned, all the things, well, not all the things, give the things that are not overwhelming to the partner, effective tools that the birth partner can learn, whether that is romantic partner, family member, friend, whoever's going to be with this person. This week is all about, how do you actually show somebody the physical things that you don't have to be in the room for? So that's module 5. Module 6 is all about supporting clients and comforting, talking to them about fear. So we need to have a whole week dedicated to fear. For those of y'all who have heard about the fear, tension, pain cycle, y'all drop a 1 for me in the chat. So we're going to dive deeper into fear, dive deeper into how that impacts the body. So a lot of why my clients who I've supported virtually have had beautiful, unmedicated, transformational birth experiences is not because I'm information dumping on them. I asked them, we have, what are your fears? And we have to uncover this stuff. So a lot of supporting people online, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of what the little tidbit is that makes this impactful for people. Is asking them to show up for themselves in their own experience. And it's not saying I'm going to give you all this great stuff that's going to change things for you, but I'm going to ask you about your fears, and I'm going to ask you to do some things that are uncomfortable, because these are the things that impact your birth experience, really, not me just being in the room with you. So module 7 is all about creating a digital birth plan. So you get to still do the things with your people. I'm gonna show you a system, a little software that I use that's really, really cool so that you can create a plan with your people, like just like this while you're on Zoom, that they can print off and take with them or have it digitally on their phone. Module 8 is all about how to support people in communicating with their birth team. This goes back to the power of why the people that I work with have good birth experiences. I'm not taking ownership and saying that was just because of me. I asked them to take accountability and to show up in certain ways. And that looks like we need to talk about how to have these conversations with your partner about the support you need. We need to talk about having these conversations with the provider you've chosen. We need to talk about how to talk to mama and auntie and them who are telling you, oh, this home birth isn't safe and you don't need to do X, Y, and Z. This week is all about how do you support people in having those conversations with their birth team. Turn it down, baby. Go ahead and turn it down. Thank you. Module 9 is all about preparing families for postpartum and parenthood. Would you like to step down or would you like to stay? You want to stay? It's all about preparing people for postpartum and parenthood. So just like Jariel mentioned in her own journey, she kind of prepared for birth like it was the finish line. Would you like to step down or would you like to stay? So pick one. You can stay or you can step down. Y'all with toddlers out there, feel me. I know you do. I'm not even gonna ask, do you feel me? She mentioned that preparing for birth for her was almost like preparing for the finish line of this event and forgot that there was a whole other side of the experience. And I will speak for myself as well. I kind of maybe thought about postpartum, not really. It was like, we'll go with it, and really was in for a rude awakening. And so I don't like to drop people off, right? So I don't do full-blown postpartum virtual work, but you can. So I'm not saying you can't, but this is the part where I don't drop my families off and have them have this great birth experience, but then get to the other side and be like, Deja, you didn't tell me what to expect over here. So we have a whole week dedicated to how do you prepare people for postpartum? Again, not just information dumping, but turn this down a little bit. Not just information dumping, but back to what's your vision? What support do you need? What are some of these things that we can start to notice right now that might impact your experience in a negative way? And how can we prepare for that right now, not later, not once the baby is born? Module 10 is all about how to facilitate a virtual session with a client. So again, this is all about what does it look like to support somebody online? That's the question that always comes up, like, is it a lot of tech? What am I going to run into issues? Is somebody still going to feel like a connection with me when I'm showing up in this way? So this is all about how to set the stage, how to set the mood, how to, the tech piece kind of. The tech piece a little bit, but more so how to set the stage for these sessions so that you can still build that emotional connection with the people that you are supporting. And module 11 is going to be deeper about what we just talked about. So mainly what we talked about during this session had to do with the foundational piece of you, which is the part, again, that people want to skip. We want a lot of... I'm going to place it over there. Go ahead, love. We want a lot of strategy. Give me the steps to posting on Instagram. How do I get more followers? But we skipped the piece of the you part. So I really want y'all to take in what we talked about, but I want you to know, like, we have strategy for days. Go ahead, baby. We have strategy for days. So if you want to know how to create the reels, you want to get on TikTok, if you say, I don't want to do social media, tell me the other ways to show up online to connect with people. This is the strategy, how to do this. Take this, apply. And then the last bit is the virtual doula toolkit. So all the templates, all the contracts, all the framework of how to walk somebody through a transformational birth experience are in this module that you can take with you, that you can always reference back to. Again, this is 12 things that we're going to go through individually, but in 6 weeks, y'all. So I want you to know that this is going to be the all-in-one thing that prepares you to be virtual. So again, definitely for my people who are like, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to put my offer together. I don't know what to price this at. This is the all-in-one bundle. This is even for my people who may have taken a step and said, okay, I do offer virtual services online on my packages, but you haven't seen any real traction with it. Or maybe you offered it to a family member for free, but you haven't attracted that first, client that is organically coming from somewhere else outside of your network. So this is the all-in-one space for y'all to learn everything virtual doula work. So let me know, y'all, in the comments if anybody is like, maybe tell me more. Anybody interested in taking next steps, we want y'all to know what's included. So again, the training modules, you'll get a lot of PDF things, you'll get a lot of plug and play. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can take something and make it your own. I want y'all to know the value of this is a lot more than what we are inviting you into. So when we add up everything, with this being a lot of business stuff, so a lot of business checklists, a lot of the actual virtual doula skills. So not just doula skills, but there's a certain way to show up online and make that impact. The value of this is over $1,000, y'all. But for the people who are coming in with us, who get the bonuses of the checklist and get all the pricing guides, all the Telegram group, which we'll tell y'all more about Telegram group. We're bringing y'all in at $444, which can be paid at one time, or it can be broken up over 3 months because we totally love a payment plan. I love a payment plan myself. So we're cutting that down. We're slashing that down. We're bringing people in right now while it's like we're getting into the fall season, kids going back to school, getting into learning mode so that by this time, Christmas time, you can be at home with your family, not running, trying to figure out if you're going to be at a birth. You can be at home with your kids, doing whatever you want to do and the way you want to show up and still making that impact. So again, y'all can pay a one-time payment of $444 or 3 payments of $150. And that's starting really, really soon, y'all. So we're starting in August. We are starting in August. Again, this is because I'm going on maternity leave that we are trying to get this out here to make sure that it don't just sit in my back pocket for longer than I've already been putting it. But we want you to know, if you're saying, maybe I want to try it, but how do I know if this is for me? Know that you can hop in. If you hop in, you're like, this is not what I was expecting. This is not what I was needing. You have a 30-day money back guarantee. You can get your coins back. You can take your coins, apply them wherever else you might decide that maybe virtual doula work is not for me. And we are okay with that. Again, we want y'all to be in alignment with what you want to do and help you move towards that. So we're not new to this, y'all. We're true to this. I don't want y'all thinking either that we're trying to give you something that we haven't tested ourselves and also shared with other people. We've been doing classes all year in various ways. So we have done Doula Night School. We have done some one-on-one coaching. One of the people who popped into one of our classes earlier in the year, let us know some beautiful words that she learned a lot, and that not just the learning piece and the strategy, but that sharing with us that and sharing with other people that we really care about y'all, so that we have a passion for birth work, but we have a passion for supporting other birth workers as well. And we love to love on y'all and bring into the community and support you, and really not just making the impact for families, but being in tune with yourself, taking back your own power, getting back in tune with what are your own values and the way in which you want to live your life. So the doors are open. What I'm going to do is drop it in the chat for y'all who want to explore it, because we want y'all to pull up, and I want y'all for any questions that you've been holding on to this whole time about virtual doula work as a whole, any questions that you have about the course, please drop it in the chat. And I'm going to drop this link in the chat so that y'all can explore and see if it's a good fit for you. But let us know your questions, anything virtual doula, anything that's taking you to the next step, any comments about what resonated for you during this whole time. I appreciate y'all for the graciousness of navigating my toddler, but this is part of it too. We get into that. What does it look like to be here and doing virtual doula work and you got kids at home?
If you guys are waiting to ask a question, if you don't mind filling out the feedback form, we would love to know what resonated with you, what you took away from this. If it sucked and it was a waste of 1 hour and 20 minutes, we want to know what we can do better. So please fill out the feedback form. And then for everybody that's interested in the virtual doula course, please go ahead and click that link. It's also in the chat, and drop any questions that you have in the chat. We have about 15 minutes where we can do some Q&A. So drop your questions in the chat. Please make sure they're related to our virtual doula topic. We definitely want to keep it cute, keep it on topic, and answer any questions that you guys have. And if there aren't any questions or concerns or feedback, we will get on up out of here, get on down and let y'all have y'all Saturday back. Let us know.
Just wanted to say that I really enjoy the two of you and your energy, your information. All of this is just it's so beneficial and affirming for what I feel like things I didn't know about and things that maybe I knew about, but I didn't know that I knew. Um, I my time commitment for August, I can't do this right now, but I do really like this program and I want to try to be involved with it after your maternity leave and after you get back in action or whatever you got going on. But I really appreciate the time and effort and energy that you all have put into everything that you've shared with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and for your appreciation. We definitely appreciate you. I do want to just quickly say for anybody that's like, oh, like August is going to be hectic. I'm not sure if I can make it to all the live trainings. We totally understand. All of the trainings will be recorded and you will have access to them as long as we are using the platform. So that will be like lifetime access. So if it's not a good time, like to watch them live, we totally understand, especially being birth workers, right? You get called to a birth, I'm a miss tonight, like absolutely no problem. You will have access to the replay. I do want to let you guys know when we relaunch this program after Dasia is back from maternity leave in 2023, it's going to be double the price. So this is a founder's price. So this is open to everybody who is coming in for our very first cohort. Every cohort after this will no longer be this price. So this is a super, super special price. It will be closer to that original price of $1,000 that you saw before. So just want to let you know, it's totally fine if you want to do it in 2023. Just grab a couple extra coins and we'll see you in the future cohorts. That's absolutely no problem. But just want to be transparent about the founder's price. And somebody saying, thank you so much. Awesome information. You guys are amazing. Super confident. Thank you, Linda. We really, really appreciate that. Okay, cool. I don't see no questions. Do we answer things that thoroughly that don't nobody have not one question? We're getting better and better at this.
Christina saying she got a toddler and a 4-month-old over there.
Oh, okay.
That's about to be me in a second.
Twins. Right. I was just about to say, yeah.
Y'all, but this the time, y'all. Any virtual doula questions pertaining to what we talked about or outside of it, this is the time. Let us know, because I know y'all have questions, because I be asking in the doula groups and y'all be saying a lot of stuff. So y'all let us know your thoughts, because we don't want you to leave here feeling like you didn't get to ask your burning question, whatever that might be. But if we did thoroughly cover enough during this time, then again, we won't hold y'all on y'all Saturday that y'all have spent with us. Dominique says, love the energy. Started listening to the podcast a month ago. This space made me feel more comfortable where I am on my doula journey. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being a listener of the podcast and for sharing your time with us today.
I'm gonna drop the podcast in the chat for everybody who has not listened yet. DoulaRoadTrip.com is where you can find our podcast. We're coming up on 100 episodes. If you want to find out more about marketing, client attraction, collaboration, this week we're going to talk about rediscovering you. So going even deeper into what we talked about today, all on the podcast. And we come out every single Tuesday. If you want more free stuff, the podcast is absolutely for you. You will not be disappointed. Thank you. This was great. Absolutely. Thank you so much for popping in. We appreciate you.
Thank
hey,
you
girl. Hey, I recognize you. Hey.
We have a website question. So opinions on a website, who to go with, or the best way to go about obtaining one. So
can you come off mute so we can ask more questions?
Yeah. That was Star.
I missed the first.
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, so you got website questions. What services are you offering?
Just pretty much informational services, or like birth planning, like a birth plan, or I don't know. I'm just kind of still experiencing and trying to figure it out, but I don't know if I should get a website or if I should get one, where to, who to go with, or just anything to go about that. I'm like super new to it, so I'm just trying to figure out the best way.
Do you want to attract clients online, or are you trying to attract clients to work with in person?
Online.
Okay, cool. And where are you geographically located? Like what city and state?
Baltimore, Maryland.
You're in Maryland. Okay, cool. I would say this about a website, right? If I were you, if I was at the beginning of my journey, I wish somebody would have told me this. It's not just about creating the website. It's also about the money and the energy and the plan for consistently getting your website out in front of people, right? So this is something that happened to me. I spent like $2,000-$3,000 on a website when I first started my doula journey. I had a 9-to-5 and some disposable money, which was absolutely a mistake. And so I had this beautiful Squarespace website created. Gorgeous. And you know what happened? My website sat online for over a year and it never got touched or visited by a potential client, because I didn't realize that more important than the website is the strategy for how is this website getting in front of people who want to book and pay me for my services, right? So ended up having to pay even more money to hire somebody who's an expert in what they call SEO, or search engine optimization, in order to say like, okay, well, people in Cleveland are looking for doulas. So let's put your website in front of people in Cleveland. Here's how we go about doing that. I pay her like $350 a month in order to start to get my website optimized. So that way I started seeing people fill out the contact form and book my services. So I say cheat the website, go on canva.com, create this PDF that you can link out to. If people ask you for a website, this is how they see about you, what services you offer, and anything else you want to share for now, until you really start to generate an income in your business. And then I say, go ahead and invest in the website, because at that point, you'll be clear on who you serve. You'll know what questions they're asking. So you'll know what content to put on the website. You'll know like the photos and things like that that'll resonate with them, and then you'll know and have money to get the website in front of people in your area consistently. So that's my advice about websites. Just cheat it, do it on Canva. If people ask for it, which they'll ask you directly via text or DM, then you could drop a link that says, hey, here's my website if you want to know more, right? So that would be my advice. Yeah.
Okay, that makes so much sense. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Coins,
and Lord
y'all.
knows I ain't no website designer, so I don't be telling nobody build your own website. Absolutely not. I'm allergic to all of that. So
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So
yeah. And so many people build their own website and it doesn't resonate with families. And so you definitely don't get booked, even if they do find it, because they're like, I don't know what this is. And so
Mhm.
in 2 minutes, they're clicking off. So yeah, website can be a vortex of time and energy that's not needed and not really helpful to your goals.
I thank
So
you so much for the honesty.
absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
wish my business coach who I paid would have told me that.
Just make somewhere for people to land and learn more. It does not have to be nothing elaborate. I hope I'm saying your name right, Shaniqua.
Yes, that's me.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Hey, hey,
I was
hey.
like running around.
I just saw your question about a better app than FaceTime.
No,
Okay.
that wasn't me. I think that was someone else, but I did read that question
Oh,
as well.
oh,
Mine
okay.
was, so I guess I can give you a quick personal just rundown. So
Yeah.
I am a birth and postpartum doula.
Mhm.
I just recently relocated from New York City to Houston, Texas. So my client
Ooh, okay.
load is not as full as I would like it to be.
Mhm.
And because of that, and me still trying to become known in the community, I needed to take on a full-time job because
Oh,
outside of being a
absolutely.
birth and postpartum doula, I have 3 children and I'm a single mom, right? So I
Yep.
was thinking when I came to the final decision that I was going to just grab onto a full-time job because I'm a nurse as well. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do birth work anymore, like the actual, I guess, labor support, because you
Mhm.
never know when these babies are coming.
Right.
And at this, like now and moving forward, I'm going to be at work, right, from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was thinking, okay, I would definitely love to move my services to be virtual, but would that still be like a strong possibility for it to prosper if I'm probably not going to be able to attend a lot of the births, being that I have a full-time job now? Did I say too much?
No,
No.
I'm with you.
Okay. Okay.
You remember the part where we started with, you get to make this whatever you want to make it. So 95% of the people I've supported virtually, I don't always offer like labor support. It'll be predominantly why I call myself a childbirth preparation coach, because I go heavy in preparation and heavy in education, heavy in support.
Mhm.
I have supported people through labor virtually, which is totally fine, but I've been choosy about it and I don't always offer it because, again, even though it's virtual, that could still be 3 a.m. or it could be, while you're.
Right.
So the short answer, you get to make it what you want to make it. If you want
Okay.
to give people, one-time sessions where you do birth planning or something where it's like your full package, but just not the labor,
Right.
you can do what
Okay.
you want to do.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm sure I'll be seeing you guys in August. So
We
okay.
can't wait to see. We're gonna talk about that more then, because I'm gonna ask you some more questions, because
Okay.
we're gonna get it framed up in a way that works for you and your lifestyle and where you're at, so you don't have to feel like, "Oh, I have to like jump all into birth work and like leave my job if I don't want to do that right now." Like you
Right.
get to make it what you want to make.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll be talking with
Yeah,
you soon. Okay. Bye.
absolutely. Excited to have you. So everybody who's asking about FaceTime, Voxer and Telegram are 2 apps that we absolutely love for communicating with people virtually. So Voxer, for us, we started using Voxer and it's more like not video, it's more voice, excuse me, voice and text. But Telegram is video, voice, text, stickers, emojis. It's like having the best of your cell phone, your text message app, and your social media apps, like all in one. So Dasia and I actually only communicate on Telegram, and all of our private communities are in Telegram because we love it so much. So those are the apps that we suggest. I just want to throw this out there. If you're trying to sit on the phone with a pregnant person in labor, then you maybe missed like what virtual support can be and how it's most effective. And so you definitely need to hop into the course if you think that that's what virtual doula work encompasses, sitting with somebody on the phone until their phone dies while they're in labor. Because that's definitely not what virtual doula work is about and how it's effective and what we teach in our course. So that's a big misconception about what virtual doula work is. And we would love to dive more into that, and we will in the course. So just want to say that too.
Yeah, short answer on that, y'all. Virtual doula work is not a copy of in-person work and then just trying to replicate it online. Again, you get to make it what you want. So for my people who are saying, what could that look like? Can I sit with somebody on FaceTime, or could I do a Zoom? You absolutely can. And again, I've done that a couple of times. I sat with people while they're in labor. Does that mean that's how it has to be, or how people can really have great birth experience, that they have to have that real time, stay with me on this phone for 23 plus hours and the laptop's burning up? It doesn't have to be that way. So you get to make it what you want to make it. Linda asking about if we give support with building websites. I do, so I will reach out to me about that. Jariel dropped some Instagram stuff, website stuff. Do we have?
Yeah, I dropped our email, our Instagram, and also our website. If you're looking to reach us, somebody asked for like our email address. Definitely it's in the chat. If you have questions that you don't want to ask in a public forum, I understand. Just shoot us a quick email. That's absolutely no problem. Doula Road Trip is where you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook. That's also the name of our podcast. So that's where you can find us online. If you haven't already, I would love to get your feedback. If you want to just fill out the feedback form, let us know if you love this or hate this. Either way, we would love, love, love to hear from you. And if you're hopping in the course, we cannot wait to see you. Kickoff call is actually happening on, what did we say, the 3rd or the 4th? I think it's the 3rd, right?
Wednesday the 3rd.
Wednesday the 3rd. Okay, so kickoff call is actually happening on the 3rd. We are going to dive into some stuff already on the 3rd. Super excited about that. And then we'll start teaching the following week. So we going to dive into this content and into this transformation and into this impact and into being about our purpose business. So super excited to see everybody and to support everybody and to be a part of the journey for everybody that is joining us in the virtual doula course. Cannot wait. Like, I'm so excited. Y'all have no idea. So the energy is going to be on a million. Just wait. And we get to cut up. I can't cut up today because, you know, we in front of company and this is a professional webinar. But inside of the course, I cannot wait to cut up and to give y'all all of the tea. So super excited.
Do y'all have any last questions? Because we are not going to hold y'all on here.
I just have one question.
Yes.
I've typed it in, but you didn't see it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's probably sounds completely stupid, but I'm brand new to doulaing. I'm a retired registered nurse, but I don't know how to make a Facebook page. I've got a website built already, and I've got a logo. I've got all of that done. I've got an LLC, but I don't know how to make a Facebook page with my business. Is that something that you teach in the course?
Yes.
Yes. So all social media that you could possibly want to use, we're either on or have been on. So absolutely to Facebook and utilizing it as a tool. We will dive into like how to actually set it up and things that you can share on there, how to, create events that people can sign up for on Facebook. We absolutely get into all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry we missed your question. Thank you for coming off mute to ask. Okay, y'all. Well, we was here for a good time, not a long time. So I don't want to take up everybody's Saturday, but it was so beautiful to share space and time with everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. We do not take it for granted. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey. If you have any questions, hit us up on social media, send us an email. Happy to answer any questions that might pop up after this. And to everybody that's signing up for the course, congratulations on being one of the founding students and in the first cohort of how to become a virtual doula. We cannot wait to share the overflow of all of the information, knowledge, and expertise that we've gotten over these past few years. And thank you for entrusting us to be a part of your journey and to be your coaches and your guides. And we cannot wait to start. So kickoff call is coming up in a few days. So get ready, watch your emails, and we will see you guys there.
Thank y'all.